But now let's shift gears. Let's move from political decisions to how we now have a plan to operationalize this work we have ahead of us. And to do this, I'd want to introduce a presentation on the Regional Rice Investment Compact 2026 to 2035. This presentation will provide the framework, which will include investment commitments, coordination mechanisms, accountability frameworks, and follow-up action. We acknowledge that the compact remains under active review and that a formal adoption will follow after completion of outstanding consultations. On this note, I'd like to invite my colleague, Dr. Boladale Adeboale, the ECOWAS Rice Agenda Coordinator, to make the presentation on the Regional Rice Investment Compact Framework.
Good evening, everyone. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I will be presenting the West Africa Rice Investment Compact 2026 to 2035. This is a framework and not the final version, but this is just to give us the structure and what to expect when we go around consulting all the partners and the various countries that are all a part of this roundtable. So first, we're going to start by acknowledging everyone that has contributed in no small way to what we have today. The development of the Regional Rice Investment Compact is a result of an extensive collaborative process of national planning, regional coordination, and collective commitment to transforming the West and Central African rice economy. Its realization reflects the dedication of governments, institutions, technical partners, and communities across 16 countries. The ECOWAS Commission, under its Rice Agenda mechanism, will provide the regional convening leadership, financing, and coordination architecture that will enable this compact. Its stewardship of the Regional Rice Roadmap 2025 to 2035 and driving its domestication for political commitment across the region, and the National Rice Investment Action Plan process has been central to translating national ambitions into coherent regional investment platform. The governments of Benin, Burkina Faso, Cote d'Ivoire, Chad, Cameroon, the Gambia, Ghana, Liberia, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Togo committed their national teams and technical resources to developing and validating country investment plans that are both ambitious and grounded in evidence. The work of their national technical task forces underpins the commitments that will be reflected in the compact. The government of Ghana is warmly acknowledged for hosting the West Africa Rice Investment Roundtable in Accra, and for the engagement of the Office of the Vice President, Ministry of Finance, and the Ministry of Food and Agriculture. The World Bank, through the Food Systems Resilience Program, provided critical investment preparation support, as well as financial and technical resources that shape the investment priorities and financing architecture of the Regional Investment Roundtable leading to the compact. The African Development Bank and other development partners, such as the Foreign Commonwealth Development Office and the Coalition of African Rice Development, provided financing and sustained engagement that contributed to the outcome of the process, as well as the ECOWAS Rice Observatory board members who provided guidance and inputs. Finally, we acknowledge the private sector, agribusinesses, and impact investors who participated in the Roundtable's deal room sessions. The feedback has been critical in shaping the de-risking mechanisms and financing architecture that will be outlined in this compact. Next is to just give you the framework for the compact. By way of background, we'd like to remind ourselves where the journey started from. In December 2024, the ECOWAS heads of state and government endorsed the Regional Rice Roadmap, a unified framework spanning 7 thematic areas and 12 priority production basins. The Regional Rice Investment Compact, hereinafter referred to as the Compact, is established within the framework of the ECOWAS Regional Rice Roadmap, the Regional Implementation Framework for Accelerating Rice Sector Transformation and Rice Self-Sufficiency in West Africa under the ECOWAS Agricultural Policy, with the support of the AgriConnect initiative constituting all donors and partners. The roadmap builds on the ECOWAS Rice Offensive and the Regional Action Plan 2020 to 2025 in support of the national rice development strategies of West African countries and aligns with the broader objectives of the Comprehensive Africa Agricultural Development Program, CAADP, and the Malabo Declaration on Accelerated Agricultural Growth and Transformation. Following the adoption of the roadmap, the ECOWAS Rice Agenda proceeded with its domestication at the national level and fostered alignment with country priorities. As a result, West African countries, with facilitation and technical support from the ECOWAS Rice Observatory, developed national rice investment action plans aligned with their respective national rice development strategies. These country-led plans identified priority investment opportunities, production basins, implementation priorities, and financing requirements across the rice value chain. The Compact will provide a shared regional framework for strengthening investment mobilization, implementation coordination, accountability, long-term partnership in support of the National Rice Investment Action Plans, and the implementation of the roadmap. Overall, it will formalize the commitments made and the governance architecture required to implement them. As a compact, there's a regional vision, and we have targets. The overall vision is a productive, competitive, climate-resilient, and self-sufficient West African rice economy by 2035, And the vision seeks to significantly reduce regional rice import dependence, strengthen food security and economic resilience, create large-scale employment opportunities, accelerate agro-industrial development, improve regional trade in the rice value chain, and position West Africa as a globally competitive rice market. And the collective regional ambition that we would love to see in 2035 is 30 million metric tons additional annual paddy production, $4 billion reduction in annual rice imports, $15 billion private sector capital mobilized, and 15 million direct and indirect jobs created. We have also identified priority investment areas that came through the National Rice Investment Action Plans, and these has been consolidated under the Regional Rice Investment Action Plan itself with a total envelope of $25.6 billion. And the financial commitment under this compact will include climate-resilient irrigation and water management, seed systems and productivity enhancement, mechanization and service delivery, processing, storage, and agro-industrial development, aggregation, logistics and regional trade, digital systems and market intelligence, financing, blended finance, and de-risking, capacity development, and institutional strengthening. We have also, under the compact, we will be prioritizing 6 coordinated regional public goods, regional trade corridors, harmonized quality and certification, regional seed and research systems, basin-level irrigation coordination, regional digital infrastructure, and investment coordination platform. We also identified shared implementation principles And those principles under this compact would include country ownership, private sector-led growth, blended finance discipline, results-based implementation and accountability, climate resilience and environmental sustainability, inclusion and equitable participation, and regional complementarity. The Part 5 of this compact will also showcase government commitments. Governments will commit to policy and regulatory environment, national budget and financing, investment facilitation, coordination and implementation, monitoring, data, and reporting. Part 6 will focus on donor, DFI, and partner commitments as well. And these will anchor the following: financing alignment, blended finance architecture, transaction support, harmonized reporting, policy, and technical dialogue. The private sector participation framework, they are also expected to commit to investment commitments, inclusive business models, blended finance participation, reporting and transparency, market development. At the regional level, the financing architecture is structured across 3 complementary financing layers, and this is designed to progressively de-risk the sector and crowd in private capital at scale. In all of this, governance, coordination, monitoring, and accountability are very important if we will see the desired results with this compact. And it will be governed by this 3-tier architecture, joint steering committee, national area chapters in the countries where they are already established, coordination units in other countries to kickstart the process, and independent evaluation function. Now for declaration and signatures, the moderator mentioned earlier that this compact will take effect upon wide consultations, finalization, and the signature of participating governments and coordinating institutions at the West Africa Rice Investment Roundtable in Accra, Ghana, 2026. Additional countries, investors, and development partners may accede during the implementation period. The compact will remain operational until 2035 unless revised by agreement of the parties. And so that's the framework, the architecture of the compact that we all will be looking at and will be finalizing by the end of Q3, 2026. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Boladale Adebowale. I'm going to ask you to remain right there for a moment because I'm sure you have a very important announcement to make for us. But thank you for sharing what will be the framework that will guide the declaration that has been made. So that is how it will be operationalized, and each and every stakeholder in this ecosystem will be involved in that process. But now we've talked about the political guidance, we've talked about the engine, the plan to get there, but let's talk about the oil that will really spin things around. After the day of deals, discussions, of pitching, I think everybody is very, very much interested to find out exactly how much has been put on the table. I know you're trying to get the figures live. I believe they're being collated live as we speak. I understand some sessions ran a little bit late, which is a signal of the importance and the seriousness the exercise was given. So a commendation once again to you all. But I think we are almost ready to hear not only the top line figures in terms of the commitments that have been made, the number of bids, but perhaps which countries had more interest and perhaps more information. So on that note, On that note, I will now yield the floor back to you to make the announcement on where those pitch and deals led to. Once again, a big hand of applause for Dr. Adeboale.
Okay, so I find myself smiling because this is live and direct. Okay, so while we're waiting for her to do that, this is the summary report of what happened in those rooms and the various bilateral discussions that took place earlier on today. We have 16 participating countries. The indicative commitments that we have received confirmed investment commitment, firm commitment is $1.54 billion US. Please, I think we have, this is really, this gladdens my heart, and I'm sure everyone here should be happy about that. Thank you. We know that we have $25 million, right, over a period of 10 years. And so in a year, we're expecting something around this figure. So we're very, very close to the mark for the first year with the investment that we have received. We had 4 thematic rooms, 5 bilateral discussions with different partners, and 15 rotation rounds. And the next slide will be showing us the commitments dashboard. If you see the green color, 24 public commitments, 32 under discussion, and then we have expression of interest, 55, expression of interest. And this is something because this is a conversation that we continue with the countries during the national roundtables that we have proposed for them to organize. And commitment by value chain themes, cross-cutting and enabling environments, we have $964 million. 4 countries, in 4 countries. For input fertilizer, we have $104 million in 3 countries. Production, farmer aggregation, $40 million, 3 countries. Processing and milling segment of the value chain, $14 million, 2 countries. And irrigation, $45.8 million, 3 countries. The key highlights from this engagement, Togo and Nigeria lead with a total of over $700 million combined indicative commitments. We have 10 of the 14 countries cleared for immediate public announcement. So they are willing to have those announcements as soon as possible. And then cross-cutting and enabling environment is the highest demand theme at 62.6% of the total value. 4 countries have immediate next steps within Q3 of 2026. Now the next slide, this is just a detailed view, countries 1 to 8, just to see how the countries fared, the indicative value, the clear next steps, the follow-up leads, and the value chain theme. And the next slide, it continues. It also shows the commitment type, whether it's expression of interest, or is it loan, or is it concessional funding, or it's a grant or firm commitment, and then in cases where we have conditional commitments that has been made. And some of these, like we mentioned earlier, in amber color, those are in discussion. In green, those are firm commitments that has been made, and then the red signals the expressions of interest that we have. So finally, we're looking at turning these commitments into action. This is what we call the agreed next steps. Commitment validation. There is a need for us to validate and classify all commitments records within 5 working days of the roundtable. We promise you that, and we will deliver on that. And also is the follow-up assignments, country-specific follow-up leads, notified with action plans by end of June. Investor engagement, partners and investors follow-up calls scheduled within 2 weeks for all the green status commitments. Progress monitoring, quarterly progress reviews against agreed next steps, and we hope to have the first review by the end of September 2026. Then the compact implementation itself, we will initiate this implementation framework once the compact is finalized and signed by all parties. Thank you very much, and once again, I would want all the investors and partners in the room, including the countries that pitched those wonderful investments, to please give yourselves a round of applause. We have all done well. Thank you so much.
That is an enormous feat over the course of 2 days to have already secured 1.5 billion, but recognizing that this is just the beginning. This is really just the beginning of a process and not the end. There will be need for further project preparation, co-financing agreements, follow-up on commitments, but certainly this is an excellent start to a very important initiative. So this is now bringing us to the close of this session. We've seen the political will, the declaration. We've heard about the framework that will be finalized in terms of the compact that will give us a clear operational way forward. And we've seen the beginnings of the commitment from our various investors. So on that note, thank you very much, and I'll yield the floor back to the Madam of Ceremony to take us through the rest of the program. Thank you very much.